Print email Facebook Twitter More banking Royal Commission. Westpac sought to evict pensioner after daughter's business failed. The Banking Royal Commission has heard an elderly, seriously ill woman faced homelessness after her daughter's business failed. Caroline Flanagan cannot read or write due to blindness caused by glaucoma. She has trouble speaking due to the effects of cancer surgery, suffers memory loss and has osteoporosis, among other medical problems. The pensioner sought help from legal aid NSW when Westpac tried to take her home, which was used to guarantee her daughter's loan. A complaint was taken to the Financial Ombudsman Service, which found in Westpac's favor. It was only a last-ditch effort by Ms. Flanagan's legal aid lawyers that managed to keep her in her home. Solicitor Dana Bajlari told the hearing her manager at the time contacted another consumer advocate to see if he had a senior contact at Westpac who we could escalate this matter to, given our client was facing homelessness in her old age. Ms. Bajlari sent a letter to Westpac outlining Ms. Flanagan's medical circumstances and managed to secure a life interest in the property for her, which means she can remain in the home until she dies or decides to sell. Counsel assisting the inquiry Michael Hodge QC asked Ms. Bajlari about the Westpac employee's response to the case. What that employee of Westpac expressed to you was surprise with the thought that Westpac would be evicting and it wasn't in line with what Westpac would normally do, he asked. Yes, that's correct, Ms. Bajlari answered. Ms. Flanagan maintained a sense of humor under questioning. After Mr. Hodge listed off her litany of health issues, including depression, she quipped that to depress anybody. She gave her evidence through a video link, as she was too unwell to travel. Westpac's lawyers questioned her recollection of events and the amount of the loan. Westpac executive Alistair Welsh followed Ms. Flanagan and Ms. Bajlari in giving evidence. He said there was nothing technically wrong with Ms. Flanagan being allowed to act as a guarantor. My review of the file shows we followed the process I would want the bank to follow, Mr. Welsh said. However, he admitted there were some problems with the bank's handling of the case once the loan failed. The inquiry heard it was Westpac policy to exercise extreme caution with parental guarantees. Mr. Welsh admitted there were warning signs in Ms. Flanagan's case that should have been observed by the banker. She suffers from quite debilitating health conditions. Would that be a relevant factor? Mr. Hodge asked. Mr. Welsh agreed and said there were no comments on Ms. Flanagan's file noting her condition. The bank manager involved is no longer employed by Westpac. Parents feel pressured to help children. Lawyer Ms. Flanagan admitted she would have signed anything to help her daughter. If you can't help your children, who can you help, she said. Ms. Bajlari told the hearing elderly parents were often worried about family breakdowns, which could have devastating consequences. People often want to put family first, or feel some pressure to do what the child asks them to do in order to preserve the relationship, she said. Ms. Bajlari said it was very rare for her clients to understand the consequences of guaranteeing loans with their family home, including the potential for their Centrelink payments to be reduced or cut off if the guarantee was called upon. Earlier, the inquiry heard the extent to which owners' personal and family assets were intertwined with their businesses, with about one-third of small business loans from the major banks secured by residential properties. Mr. Welsh will face more questions tomorrow. Print email Facebook